I will never tell this to anyone, so hopefully not with a transgender person.
It's like, this is all it takes. You just gotta sprinkle a little transphobia in there, and then it's like, yeah, I am talking to the president of Ukraine. This is a powerful moment in history. I hope everyone remembers this clip when people tell you billionaires are just smarter than you. All you regular proles, you know, toiling away. It's because you didn't work hard enough. It's because you don't have enough what it takes, enough bootstraps to be lifted to be able to achieve the true, I guess, British dream in this one. Alright everybody, if you're unaware of the story, I only found out about it yesterday, but it seems like J.K. Rowling has been punked, as the kids say. She has been effectively pranked. Her superego has grown to such a size that she believed that it was true that Zelenskyy himself and other members of his administration wanted to contact and speak to her directly, and she was willing to not only take the call, but also get recorded while it was happening. Now, the shit that she says in this phone call is absolutely ridiculous. The stuff that she responds to, they had but to play into her transphobia. I know, and this is also a nice little side note on this, that Putin has said out loud that J.K. Rowling is an example of cancel culture. Yeah, she's proof that cancel culture is real. I mean, she hasn't lost her ability to tweet out some of the most highly charged transphobic shit of any public media figure. She's kind of joined this long legacy of British, let's just say, artists and creatives who want to firebomb the entirety of the goodwill created by their work and their canon by choosing to become outrageous transphobes later in life and then continue to put out movies, video games, but again, canceled. It's a real thing. I also want to add, and this is actually really important, the two comedians in question who did this, they are very pro-Putin propagandists. If you want to just take a quick look at their website, you wouldn't even know that it was a comedy site. And yes, they've also gotten George Bush. But their videos, holy shit. Another Ukrainian unit refused to go on fighting. Images from the Battle of Choshkovka. Russian in action. Russian tanks in action. U.S. mercenary. Propaganda made me do it. Shifting the murder blame. Full version. Pushing this narrative that the entire thing is just a military exercise. It's a military operation. It's to liberate Ukraine and Ukrainians and their people from, of course, the throes of Nazis and fascism. So super, super hardcore pro-Putin propagandists. So let me just say this, J.K. Rowling, this is a really, really bad look. It's a bad look not only that a billionaire with a lot of access to resources wasn't able to vet this, that you just let your ego run with this and you were completely fine with letting this happen because you thought that Zelenskyy wanted to call you personally and you were willing to be like, oh, yes, of course, yeah, and not actually vet who was doing this, but then go on record saying the amount of things that you had to say in this interview.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Rowling. I want to tell you that I'm happy to talk to the greatest writer of our time without any exclusion, and I want to admit that I'm a big fan of yours work. Thank you what you're doing.
Thank you so much. That means the world, and I think that Ukraine could lead your part of Europe in that respect. I think if Ukraine sets the example going forward, that would be a wonderful thing.
I wanted to talk with you about the cancellation culture of Russia now. It's loud. What else do you think the whole civilized world can do to put pressure on them? I know that in Russia you have banned local publishers from publishing your books.
Yeah, I agree. This is like Borat tier fucking pranking. And she just fell for the entire thing, hook, line, and sinker. Like you can already tell, like she's actually like, oh yes, oh my, yes, I do deeply believe in this calling, and I'm certainly flattered that you say I'm the greatest author of all time.
I know, of course.
I think that I'm not sure that story is accurate. I think that although that has been reported, but we are currently not proceeding in Russia ourselves because. Out of solidarity with Ukraine, I'm not proceeding with certain business interests in Russia. So, in fact, it would be me not wanting to be affiliated with Russia rather than the other way around.
Maybe.
Oops, you probably shouldn't have given a bunch of pro-Putin comedians a massive win then, JK.
it's better to demand that Russians don't read your books at all, for us, I think. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did not deserve it.
Well, they certainly didn't understand them.
I heard that you have write Harry Potter with Tchaikovsky's music. So
That is true. That is true. Well, partly, not always. There was some pop music too.
I know, but now there's a time when any Russian culture should be under surrendering. Should be should be really how to say. We have to look at it properly, not to promote Russian culture, including Tchaikovsky. And I know that you have heard that it's already banned in some parts of Europe now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that pressure must be brought to bear on Russia culturally, economically.
Culturally.
I certainly support much stronger sanctions against.
Like, don't get me wrong. Absolutely condemning on a regular basis Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine and all the horrors and atrocities they're doing there. I don't think banning Tchaikovsky is going to do anything to help the war effort. Neither is banning Russian books or literature. I think that angle is absolutely ridiculous posturing.
Yeah, and by the way, but I know the problem that Tchaikovsky is also gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah. What? Oh, Joe. This
In the
is so
film,
bad.
in the new film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Secret of Dumbledore, Russian actor Alexander Kuznetsov plays the role of Helmut. Unfortunately, it can no longer be cut out.
That part may have been edited. Apparently, the response from J.K. Rowling's team in response to this all is that this was just heavily edited and was not indicative of the real interview, which does mean she would have an opportunity, unless she didn't record it, to release the entire interview. I'm not saying that it's probably not edited. That doesn't change the fact that she is, again, in some unedited parts, about to say some really wild shit.
But is it possible to impose any sanctions on him? Like, for example, it was a story with Johnny Depp.
Yes, Fantastic Beasts has been a very interesting experience. I will certainly talk to people and see what we can do.
I also have a request, cultural request. You know, Harry Potter has a scar on his forehead in the shape of the letter Z. You know what is it?
Lightning bolts, yeah.
Yeah. So is it possible to somehow remove this scar due to the geopolitical situation? Maybe it's better to put the Ukrainian trident, it's our sign of Ukraine, on his forehead, and it's good to make his cut hair as Ukrainian forelock.
I will look at that. It might be good for me to do something with that myself on social media, because I think that would get into the newspapers. I didn't know they were doing that, but that's certainly.
Like, what the fuck, Joanne? Were you Caleb Moppening that one? Or are you like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write that one down? This is a fair and astute point, and one that I'm certainly going to treat as reasonable.
Something that I can address personally.
You know, now
this is my wife, Tyr, right now, and she's falling for all of it.
Situation is pretty hard for us. You know that there are still many fights around, especially on the east side of Ukraine. And you know that your country also is supporting us. You know that I had already a meeting with your Prime Minister, Boris, and we already in big touch with him. But especially it doesn't matter, but I see that he doesn't really, as I think in my humble opinion, that he really understands what is really going on in our country, especially because it's like a kind of his PR. Yeah, it's, of course, it is. It is, and he's a conservative, of course. That's why.
Yeah,
Thus,
exactly.
I always supported laborists, and I had a good friendship with Tony Blair and other people. So
Yeah.
now we are trying to find the ways how to collaborate with the world's community.
He went from a Scottish accent to a Russian accent to a French one. Yeah, it's all over the place, but doesn't seem to matter.
How to get more support, how to get more military support to our country. And of course, it's really important. But what is also important for me is to...
Does she think she's talking to Zelensky? Yes, she does. That's how far the superego is gone right now.
Know that people who are not politicians, they really support us. They really feel what do we feel. And especially like many famous writers, many famous musicians. And you know, I'm also an actor in past. I was an actor in... maybe in the future, I hope I will take a part in a new movie about Harry Potter, when especially you put Ukrainian tridents on his forehead. How do you see? What kind of...
like, he's breaking character there. You can hear him. He's like, at this point, they've gone 6 minutes, and I think I would also be baffled that it went on this long, that you've gotten away with saying all this kind of zany stuff with no real pushback whatsoever. Then yeah, I would what else can I say that you'll agree to and smile and nod with?
Gender has Boris.
He's definitely a man, and his past history proves that he's definitely a man.
We are going to open book clubs all over the country and name them after you. And we also want to invite you to read Harry Potter in front of the soldiers of the Azov battalion. They have a Bible club. They like...
I would love that.
Yeah, they like to read a lot, especially...
What have you done? These are pro-Putin propagandists.
German literature. Just don't read them passages about half-breeds. They are nationalists and do not like such people.
Like the accent keeps changing too. They do not like such people. My wife.
Understood.
I want to clarify where you are sending the money that Loomis has collected. The fact is that we are really like modern weapons. We want to buy a lot of weapons and missiles with your money to destroy Russian troops. I hope you're all for it. So.
I think that, well, we'll look after the kids, but I really want Ukraine to have all the arms it needs.
And we will deal with refugees and children after the Russians leave our land. You must understand that the weapons are more important now, but we cannot advertise it. I can say in the press that the money was spent on children, and and we will buy and low missiles with them in the UK. So let's do that.
Okay, I understand completely.
And by the way, I ordered that our fighters write Avdra Kedavra. Yeah. On the missiles that we will...
To people saying this is just 100% faked and they're just putting stuff over, like, I think it's edited. There's no question. I have no idea how many of these sections, and when they zoom in, if they're just zooming in on her reactions because it's funnier that way, or if they're actually just putting them out of place. But she is responding to the words that they are saying. Like, there are still feedbacks where, like, right there, for example, you can't have the plausible deniability that this was 100%. They just said, like, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for your support. And she was like, okay, yes, yeah, I'm very proud of this, but, and then they just threw in a whole bunch of other stuff.
Launched Donetsk and Lugansk. So how do you like this joke?
I love the joke.
Finally, tell me a secret. I'm interested as your fan. Is Dumbledore gay? I won't tell anyone. And who did he sleep with?
Well, I said in 2007 that I always saw Dumbledore as gay. That's the truth. In 2007, and it was a big scandal at the time that I said it. So yeah, that's the way I see him. I mean, it's an old man. He's an old man when we see him in the book. So, you know, his love life is no longer very important. But yeah, that's how I saw him.
I will never tell this to anyone. So hopefully not with a transgender person.
It's like, this is all it takes. You just gotta sprinkle a little transphobia in there, and then it's like, yeah, I am talking to the president of Ukraine. This is a powerful moment in history.
This has been such a pleasure.
Let me introduce my my team. It's you know that we also have a not traditional. We use not traditional.
Was it a scandal? I mean, if you Google search it, you'll see this story is in a bunch of publications. Like, it's not as if it just got unnoticed, right? It's definitely not getting, like, I don't think liberal outlets are going as hard on this as like some places like the Daily Mail had a big article on it. But the Daily Mail, of course, was apt to point out that these two individuals in question, these are pro-Putin propagandists. Even if they're comedians, you can be a comedian and a propagandist. I mean, you can make a big argument that that's exactly what I do, just in the opposite direction, right? But the fact that, like, again, someone with all the resources in the world, billions of dollars, you know, and I'm sure maybe one or two or multiple private assistants wouldn't be able to, like, connect the dots and realize this wasn't actually the president of Ukraine calling you.
Traditional methods, and we try to involve people who usually not far away from magic. And I know some people who are some like wizards. We know them. It's like people. I called my own army order of the Ukrainian phonics. I have people. It's our how to say. Hereditary witches that they usually has a special spell words how to help our army, and if you don't mind, I can show you them if you agree.
I would love to.
Okay, just let me show them. Выходите, есть кто на линии? It's here they are.
Hi.
Apparently this translates to like something pro Vladimir or go Putin or something like that.
Hello. Wonderful to meet you.
It's a
great
hereditary
job.
witches,
Great job,
and especially like they are real wizards.
I can see that. I can tell. I'm qualified to say.
They want to say to you something. Бабушки, скажите что-нибудь от своего сердца.
So chat is saying it means only Putin. It means only Putin. Wow. Great job. Great job. Good job giving them a win. And the middle one says, thank God I live in Russia and not Ukraine. Thank you, translators.
Name is Hem Ione Granger. My friends and I are hereditary sorcerers, and we conjure so ours army wins.
I hope everyone remembers this clip when people tell you billionaires are just smarter than you. All you regular proles, you know, toiling away. It's because you didn't work hard enough. It's because you don't have enough what it takes, enough bootstraps to be lifted to be able to achieve the true, I guess, British dream in this one.
Can you help us? Say some spell to help us. Oh, shit, motherfucker. Приглашаем вас на борщ. А сейчас мы вам споем
They will sing to you from our hearts, from our country. Давайте, бабушки, запевайте.
Не колдунья, я любила и люблю. Это мне судьба послала, я свою любовь свою. Не судите строго люди, пожалуйста.
There is no way 5 years ago you could ever convince me what the future would be like. If you told me about the future timeline 5 years ago, I would never believe a word of it. Like one of the most preeminent children's authors of all time would become one of the most preeminent transphobes and bigots of all time, only to get pranked by a couple of pro-Russian propagandists in the midst of a fucking horrifying war. Like that is what you would be sitting down and watching. I never would have believed you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Bravo.
Бабушки, вы понравились. Бабушки, вы понравились. Спасибо вам большое. Thank you, Josh. They all love you. Very, very.
Feeling is mutual. The feeling
I
is
love you. I love you. I love you.
Love
I
you.
love you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I know that one of my big friends, they are writers. They are writers, but they are Russians, but they are my favorite writers. It's Vovan and Lexus. Can you tell them hello, Vovan and Lexus?
Well, of course I will. Yeah.
No, you can say
sorry.
it. Vovan and
Okay.
Lexus. Vovan and Lexus. Hi.
Pavan Lexus.
Yeah,
Hello.
they are also writers. Okay, thank you.
That's their names, yeah. Yeah, so good job, Joe. You did a great job giving the pro-Russian, pro-Putin comedians a massive win. They can go off and now laugh about how silly, the British elites are and the Europeans are who would ever support Ukraine in their efforts to resist a Russian invasion. Great job. Add that to the, long rap sheet of incredible things you're doing in the world right now to help people and their lives. It's a thing. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to embark on a mighty jihad in your name. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble jester, attempting in vain to get you to laugh. To our valiant knights of the Round Table, Benji Arnie, Tech Tink, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Egbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tao, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevbot, EXE, Brian Ephraim, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our mugs and salute our brave heroes off to another glorious conquest.